I'm Mark. I own Mark Douglas Contracting. This is my 2012 Freightliner. It's an M2 106, four-wheel drive. I use it mostly for working on construction, logging, and mining equipment. We're gonna be giving you a truck tour today. Garbage. And that gave me a deep-seated hatred for Mac tools. Speaking of hate, this is my 1-inch impact. I hate it for gasket surfaces. They're available on Fortis HD. Just got them today, so I'm excited to try these out. Everyone should have, you need a few of these, the Code Blues. Snap-on makes one too. It's the same thing. If you're just starting out, that's probably the first thing you want to buy. You want to actually see if you can get your parents' line of credit and put it on that. No.
This truck tour is proudly sponsored by Mueller Kueps. You've seen them a lot on the channel and for a good reason. They make some of the best tools for mechanics. Their tools get the job done faster and more efficiently. From the Big Chooch and wrench extenders like the 745-100 and their new pistol grip needle scaler. Be sure to get your Mueller Kueps tools from FortisHD.com to support them and us. And don't forget to follow Mueller Kueps, Fortis HD, and Tekamo on social media for new tool announcements and more. It's finally here, the Tekamo Mueller Kueps collab, the Air Hammer, the Big Chooch. This is the Mueller Kueps Tekamo HD collaboration. Once they are gone, they are gone. Very limited edition. And now for what you actually came for, truck tour.
This is the main tool cabinet, the Hot 100. Big Milwaukee guy. Obviously, once you buy one and you get the batteries, you're committed after that. I think Snap-on might make a better impact overall, but I'm not carrying two chargers. I don't have the room for two chargers. So Milwaukee makes a product that kind of works for everything. And they make this sweet pack out wall. Super sick. I can't remember how much it was. It wasn't cheap. Nothing ever is. It's held the test of time. I mean, this is bumped down hundreds of kilometers of logging road and everything stays there. Nothing's gotten loose. Everything stays super secure. And it just keeps all my junk up out of the way, which freed up a ton of room on this top shelf here. I just had everything there, just in here. And it drove me nuts. Yeah, I was just at Home Depot one day. It was sporadic. I didn't go out in search of it. I just saw it there and I went, that's perfect, yeah. And it works really well. Everything's held up good. This is another nice setup here is these Snap-on floodlights. You can use them individually and they're super bright, or you can use them as a whole set. Yeah, I constantly see guys putting like the most expensive LEDs and light bars and all this stuff on the top of their truck. But it doesn't really help because when you're working, your back is to the truck. So now you're blocking the light yourself. And then when you turn around and you gotta walk back to the truck, you're blinded by these LED lights. Like, kind of useless, I think. I could be wrong. In this section here, the inverter, this is a lifesaver. Might be just a me issue, but my Tough Book won't last longer than 7.5 minutes without being plugged in. That's the whole reason I have this massive HD 12 amp battery, is just to, the charges my cell phone, my laptop, my lights. Sometimes I'm here for the night, but then sometimes I'm down in Victoria for the night. Sometimes I'm out in Port Alberni, like I'm kind of all over. Trying to have like a charger, pull everything out of the truck, charge it up, and then put it back in isn't always accessible. So just keeping that with that inverter keeps those small things like that, just keeps you out of a pickle. Crane remote, keep that somewhere safe. Set of equipment keys I've been rolling with since my early days, just stealing them from everywhere I could. Finger cuts and electrical problems. My impacts, I keep this super handy bungee cord because when I drive around, they fall out. Actually, this one fell out the other day and broke the trigger and the battery. Man, I bought this like 7 years ago. I don't know if I can warranty it. It's held in there. This thing wails. It hits way harder. There's a 3/8 M18 that I have. I think sucks. This is by far the superior tool. The 1/2-inch drive impact, 7 or 8 years now. It still wails, but a nice part about it is I'm getting to a point in my career where I'm really good at what I do. Little things like this will actually become disattached and stop working halfway through. And so it just adds that certain amount of frustration to my day that I really just didn't have before. I probably could get a new one, but just can't give up on the classics. Keep also all my comm adapters up here. This is the Cummins Inline 6. It's kind of buried in there. There's a ton of cables and adapters and stuff like this. I actually used this on a Komatsu WA500 not that long ago, and it was able to hook up to that and work with it for some engine issues we were having. So it comes in handy quite a bit. So as we go through it, you might see I don't have as much as those other guys. This is what I run. Every tool in here gets used. Not a lot of dead weight running around in this truck, except for me. I mean, I say that, but then I have an old clapped out quick attach port, used Warta pilot solenoids that are no good. You just got to keep these around just so people think you know what you're doing. So our top drawer is metric sockets. The 1/2-inch drive swivels. Keep my 1/2-inch and 3/8 together and separate it by metric and standard. A couple randoms, like a tap handle for no reason. My favorite ratchet, it's got this neato handle that keeps my hand out of the way of things. And it also has a flex head, but it's not a locking flex head, because locking flex heads they're the devil's work. They lock in the weirdest position when you don't want it to lock. Why? Why did you do that? This is a locking with a soft grip. This is actually one of my most used and hated ratchets. Originally had this same length, but in the non-flex head with the non-soft grip handle. And then it broke and they warrantied it with this piece of junk. And so it has the locking head, which I don't like, and it has the soft grip handle, which I don't like, but it hasn't broken since then. So there's no reason to replace it except for my genuine hatred for it. But I still use it every day. It works perfectly fine. My whole life is packed with hatred. I hate everything. Except for this ratchet. I bought this. This is one of the first Snap-on tools I bought. I bought this when I was, I want to say 17 years old or something like that. And it looks brand new because it is brand new. This is one of the only tools I have on this truck constantly that I rarely use. I don't use ratchets often. I use my impacts for the most part, but when I do need a ratchet, I usually grab this one for 1/2-inch drive, and very rarely does this one actually ever come out. This one is a favorite. This causes me no hatred. I love this one. It just fits in your hand. You can do things quickly with it. I think it's the 80 tooth. It might be more, but it has like a really tight drive on it. It gets into really tight areas. It works really well. But like, look at the length of this and then the length of this. This gets in the way, even with the sweep bend. This just sneaks right in there. Yeah, and then there's a bunch of backup ratchets. Like that's another 3/8 ratchet, another 1/2-inch. Just backups in case things fail. They never have, but the second drawer down, this is the standard. It's a little bit more hectic. It's a little bit more chaotic because it's not just standard. It's also Torx, or cheap Torx. These ones I like to use because I'll actually just smash these in and use them as extractors into bolts. And then I have the Snap-on, the more expensive ones. These ones will get smashed into bolts too. Don't kid yourself, but I do try and keep them in better shape. Fuel line socket for the 3500s, but it's also super handy on like a VP style, like a rotary style injection pump. This is the starter tool. It's actually surprising how few people know about these, but it's 5/8 12 point on a swivel. It actually has like this neato collar, so you can put it in one position, it'll hold it, but the minute you use an impact on it, that collar snaps and obliterates and goes flying everywhere. So this one hasn't had it for a while, but you don't need it. It's a lie. I bought actually specific for ARD heads, but they're O2 sensors and a lot of emissions style sensors. I was going to buy a whole kit, but again, so far this is the only one I really needed. I've had good luck just using a wrench on the other ones. Bought this doing a steering pump. I think it was a steering pump on a D6. All my adapters. How many have I broken? None, because I treat my tools with respect. It's how I make my money, so quite a few. Quite a few. I've broken quite a few. This is the fuel line socket. This came in actually when I worked for the dealer, was just a dealer tool they gave us. I've yet to find another use for it since then. But it is a pretty handy crow's foot to have. This actually works on a few of the emission sensors and things like that as well. I had, yeah, these sockets, these inverted Torx. I tricked myself into buying these because I thought I needed them. Because I was working on a lot of Perkins engines. When I first moved down to the Caribbean, I had like 3 back-to-back where I needed these sockets, and I ended up having to use 12-point sockets or box ends or wrenches, and it wasn't great. I wasn't happy with it. I wanted the right tool. So I bought this set, never saw another Perkins engine that has these again. So that's cool. When I was looking for a new job, and on Craigslist, Sunshine Coast edition of Craigslist, it said cat mechanic wanted, Cayman Islands. It sounds stupid. I thought it was a scam, so I sent them my resume. I took some of the, like my personal, like my address and stuff off my resume. I was like, well, whatever, sent it. And then 20 minutes later, my cell phone rings and it's this guy from the Caribbean. And we do this interview, and then he goes, would you fly down for an in-person interview? We'll pay for it. And I went, sounds really scammy. So I phoned my dad and asked what to do because I'm an adult. He said, well, you got nothing to lose. Like, if someone wants your identity, like, it's not great, so they can have it. So I went down there, and I was down there for just over a year fixing heavy equipment in the Caribbean. We did a lot more than just cat. A lot of genset work, a lot of boat work. I don't fit in the boats that nice, but it was fun. It was a fun experience, but the island seemed to get smaller every day. Cool, pussy bro. Who your daddy is? Moving on. This is my wrench drawer. I keep it separate for standard metric. I feel like you need crow's feet sockets, but you don't at the same time. Like, they come in handy once every 6 months or once every year. So I don't want to spend a huge amount of money on them. But these have worked fine. They haven't spread or nothing. These, everyone should have. You need a few of these. The Code Blues. Snap-on makes one too. It's the same thing. Don't be fooled. Don't buy into the media. It goes up to 1.5 inches. It's got metric and standard calibrations on the side of it. You can use it basically for vernier calipers if you wanted to. Like, if I need to get a pilot line off quick and I'm kind of wondering what sizes, especially if it's up on the top of the machine, everything like that, and you just need to do this, that's fine. If I'm taking 15 pilot lines off, I'm probably getting the right wrench. Or if I'm doing a lot, but if it's a one-off thing, I'll grab all my wrenches, but I'll almost always grab this too. If I hit like a weird oddball fitting, an 11/16 and I've got a 5/8 and a 3/4, there's nothing wrong with using this. If this is all you use, that's a issue. But if you use it for what it's intended for, light duty, quick and easy work, then I don't see a problem with it. And guys hate them because like bolts get rounded off, but just don't use it loose. Make sure it's tight. It's a pretty easy tool to use. This is the metric, crow's feet, couple stubbies, snap on for the main wrenches. These are the OGs gear wrench for the ratcheting wrench. The snap-on ones, I think, don't flex in the back. They're like Blue Point or something like that. And if they don't flex, that's useless. That's stupid. These have been abused pretty good, and they work perfectly fine. This is pliers. Pretty mismatch of things. It's mostly snap-on. There's a couple Knipex, Knipex, Snipex, whatever you want to call them. For needle nose, like I said, I run a pretty basic setup. I've got 2 pairs of needle nose. I see a lot of people with those needle nose that like open like a pair of like pliers, some sort of Talon grip or something like that, and they're picking quarters up off the ground. I've never in my job had to pick a nickel off the ground before, so I don't think I need those. And people say, oh, they've got so much power. Like, how much power are you putting through your needle nose? I genuinely, I don't get it. I don't understand it. These are a different animal. These are the alligator grip. But these work really well. I bought a set originally. The first set I had was from Mac, and the first time I used them, it actually flattened all the teeth immediately, and that gave me a deep-seated hatred for Mac tools. So I'll never buy another Mac tool again. Knipex. I've had these for 5 or 6 years now, and they work great. Good at pulling out studs, good at grabbing things. People can find these online from Fortis HD. They are a dealer for it. By the end of this video, I might actually know how to pronounce the name. It's handy that they're a dealer because I'll be using them to buy my made in Germany Knipex tools. The cable strippers, they work really well, and you can do it with one hand. You don't need to pull or nothing like that. They work quite well. I don't clean my tools like religiously. This truck actually is a Thermo King. This truck dumps heat. It's got 2 heaters in it. So if it's raining out, I run the heaters and that dries everything out really well. Because Thermo King, I don't know if you guys know, but they make reefer bodies, like van trailer bodies. And so like they know air movement and how to keep things dry. So this truck actually works really well for that. Pry bars, we don't run a lot. It's actually a little bit empty. That's embarrassing. Put something in there maybe. Just more Code Blues. I found this actually in the middle of Highway 1 when they were building the Portman Bridge. It was just laying there, and it's been with me ever since. It was straight when I got it, and it also didn't have all the hammer marks in it. Just Mastercraft, but it has worked wonderful. Adjustable heel bars. These are nice. Gear Wrench makes them. This is a snap-on one, and they work really well. The next drawer down is hammers, metric, bigger sized wrenches. For some reason, a mini indexing pry bar. Found this on the road, actually. This was on the road in the Caribbean. I don't know what its intended use was. It seems quite hard. Hit this thing with sledgehammers and everything else, and it hasn't deformed too badly. I smuggled it? No, I shipped it. I imported it. I didn't put this in my prison pocket and bring it back. The snap-on hammers, and again, like some guys have 3 or 4 different sizes of hammer, but I feel like those people also have an iPhone, an iPad mini, an iPad, an iMac, all do the same thing. They hit things like I got to hit it a little bit or I got to hit it a lot of bit. Like, and then a brass hammer. This works really good when you don't want there to be any hammer marks and anything like that. Like if you got to collect a debt or something, you don't want hammer marks and something. These are Sunex large wrenches. I only needed a 36 mil, but the set was, I just couldn't resist the whole set. So I got it. Bottom drawer, the rest of the big wrenches. These are the standard sized big wrenches. They're larger than 1 inch up to 2 inch. And they do the same thing as the smaller ones, but on bigger nuts. A lot of these I bought off other mechanics. So there's no true brand loyalty. Like there's some Jet ones I bought from Lordco. When I started out, like they're expensive. They're one of the more expensive tools, hand tools to buy. It's the bigger wrenches. And so like you see a journeyman who has 2 inch and 3/8. Can I buy one of those? Can I have one of those? Right. And you get one, but then you see someone else's this one, or you buy it on Marketplace. You buy it on, well, it was Craigslist. When I was an apprentice, it was Craigslist, which was a terrifying time. This is my Allen key set. Super handy. This one's getting old. I've had it for a number of years, so it is missing a couple small pieces. This will solve 90% of your problems in life. And again, it has the inverted Torx, which if those Perkins ever come back, look out. I think I do have a few specialty ones that I actually don't even carry on the truck. Like when I'm going to a job that requires those, I know that I'm going to that job. It doesn't come up sporadically, so I'll grab them. Allen key sets. The only thing I'm confused about is why it says H8, not M8. What does H stand for? If someone at Blue Point could reach out and solve that mystery for me, that would be great. H8? Hate. Yeah, I do have hate inside me. Speaking of hate, this is my 1 inch impact. I hate it. This thing pounds. It wails and it works really well, and it was expensive, but it weighs, it's like a small child. It's like a toddler. So if you have to ever put it above your head and impact, it's a shoulder workout for sure. And then actually it went away to get repaired, and when it came back, they repaired the inside, but they cross-threaded my handle bolt. So thank you, Snap-on, for that one. Great, good move. I would buy this again, 100%. The thing is now, if I was working back, I used to work in the oil sands, and doing up there, you did a lot of like D10 and D9 cutting edges, but you had the gun above your head, and it worked really well, as in it took all the nuts off, which is what you want, but it's so heavy. A lot of guys up there had the Aircat 1 inch, the pistol grip. You can buy it for a third of the price of that. It weighs half as much. If I was back in a situation where I was using the 1 inch consistently again, I would probably still keep this on the truck, but I would probably run that Aircat 1 inch just for those very specific, like doing those cutting edges. But now the only time I really use this is doing undercarriage, and I need it to work. I need the reliability. I need so the weight at that point, the pros outweigh the cons at that point for keeping this on the truck at all times. I've heard a lot of guys really rave about the Mac impacts. Some of the CP stuff, I used to have a CP air hammer. It put out just as much as Snap-ons and stuff like that. And it was old. It was really old. I bought it at a garage sale, and it worked really well until it just absolutely destroyed itself. And then the one they gave me to replace it, I actually ended up getting a warranty on it. And it was just plasticky and just junk. But the retail on this is like, it's like $3,000 or something like that. If you don't use a 1 inch gun all the time, why would you invest $3,000 of your business's money in something that's just going to roll around and not do a lot, right? Like if you can get one for $600 that you have to use once every couple months or something like that, that might last you 2 or 3 years and you'll be fine with that, right? Like that would be fine. It is heavy. That is its biggest downside, is it's heavy. I have yet to find a nut that this thing can't undo. I have yet to find a bolt that won't break loose. The top drawer here has screwdrivers. Some of them, like this one, have been used as a chisel, punch, or pry bar. This actually has to get warranty. This has not been used as a chisel, punch, or pry bar. This is not. But some people do that, and they look like this. This one's not that case. So this one needs to get warrantied. A pair of scissors. It's always super handy to have scissors. I really like the Snap-on screwdrivers. I think these are Jet. And they work well. They work good enough. And it's a screwdriver. Like you buy whatever floats your boat, really. Like there's not a lot of technology in them. Next door down, bit of electrical. Again, I see some guys running 4 multimeters on their truck. They're like, I use this one for volts. I use this one for, and it's like, man, like it's got all the settings. You can do it all with one. This is a really good multimeter. I've had this for almost 10 years now. It broke the bank when I bought it, a younger guy, but it works well. It's accurate. It does everything I need it to do. I almost bought the Snap-on with the Bluetooth. It would be handy to have one, but I don't know if it's worth dropping a G note on a multimeter when I have a multimeter that works. I have my iPad with me that I do some of my billing and stuff like that, and I'll FaceTime from my iPad to my phone. I'll set my phone up and done that. It's only come up 2 or 3 times that I needed, that would have been handy to flip something and then see immediately what it is, and I can't get there. I just cut these apart. I was doing electrical diagnosis the other day, and I cut these apart and messed them up. But these retractable leads, like now I can get 15 feet away from what I'm doing. It comes up, but it doesn't come up enough to make me want to spend $1,000. This is a cat part, and you plug your meter ends in there, and then you can actually put this in line. I use this a lot with putting in line with solenoids. So I'll plug this into a solenoid, and then I'll put it in line, and then I can flick it on and off, and I can see if it's working. I can see if we got power going to it and whatnot, because it can be a to get your meter leads up in there and then flick the switch. Like this just solves all those issues in one. Snap-on Deutz kit. It looks brand new because it is brand new, but I've had it for a number of years. It's one of those things I bought thinking I'd use it a lot more than I have. It does have a place. Yeah, I usually just use a mini screwdriver for everything that this can do. This is pretty sick. I had the Milwaukee, the M12 soldering gun, and it heated up kind of like the Arctic Ocean very slowly, but it is happening. Climate changes upon us. To speed it up, I got the gas powered one instead of the EV. This thing works great, and it does heat shrink, so I do like that for soldering. So like the Fluke stuff is definitely, it's not cheap, but I know that it's accurate. When I very first started in the trade, first multimeter I bought, it was $100 meter, and it worked perfectly fine. In fact, it had a better backlight for using in darker areas than this one does. And then I misplaced it, and then I bought this Fluke one, and then I found the KMS one later. It still works perfectly fine. But man, if you're just starting out and you need a multimeter, just get a multimeter. The technology's come so far. It's not a voodoo magic anymore. There's not a lot of technology in there. It just has to read bolts. This is where I just got these Mueller Kueps carbide scrapers for gasket surfaces. They're available on Fortis HD. I just got them today, so I'm excited to try these out. But yeah, it's a bit of a haywire drawer, but it's mostly specialty pliers and scrapers. The 4-angle wrench, I have them up to 2-inch. Hot tip of the day. If you buy them off the Snap-on truck, I think it's close to like 4K. Like, it's ridiculous. So what you do is become friends with someone that works at a cat dealer. These, they actually say cat on them until you get up to the bigger sizes, where I guess cat just didn't want to brand them or whatever, and they start saying Snap-on. But these are the exact same as the Snap-on ones. And I got this whole set for significantly cheaper than what you would pay on the truck. Like, these wrenches have saved my life, but well, not literally. I've never been falling off a bridge and they somehow turn into a float plane. Specifically working on skid steers and other smaller pieces of equipment and on tighter valve banks. These have come in really handy for getting lines loose and things like that. So they are super handy. And if you can get those Tacton ones, and I suggest you do, get them from Fortis HD. If you don't have the money, if you don't got the skrill, that's okay. Down in this drawer, we've got, this is just consumables. Bright white paint, rapid tap, drilling holes, ether for when she doesn't want to go, never sleeves, always got to have that, WD-40, the smart straw technology. I don't know why nobody else has thought of this. It's amazing. Really, it was revolutionary. It really brought the aerosol cans to 2025. Or they might have come out that early. It might have been like 2000, but it's great. Nobody else does it, only WD-40. Next drawer, it says original formula on it. I read a lot of things on the internet. People are like, oh my God, it's different. It sucks. It's stinks. Like, I don't know, man. It's brake clean. Like, it still works. I do notice it doesn't evaporate nearly as fast. This does evaporate decently quick, but it's not as quick as it used to be. But this still cleans really well. It still works really well. It's just the CRC issue. I don't even know why they stopped making it. Something to do with the sky. Big words. science words, and that's why they quit making it. I don't get too fired up about brake clean. Like, we're not trying to fight evil here. We're just trying to clean some parts. So as long as it does something. Next section is above the wheel wells here. Just got this with a removal and install tool for drive lines and for U-joints. The only problem with Tiger Tool is getting them. It would be a lot handier if someone such as Fortis HD or something had that. As they have so many other tools, this would just be a great line to add to their already conducive line of tooling. Okay. Puller set. I think it's specifically designed to be a crank, like a harmonic balancer puller, but I've used it for many other things. I find having like these longer screws and like just this whole kit on board can get you out of some jams. This wasn't the most expensive. I had a snap-on one that I tried to use to pull an injection pump gear off, and it galled all the threads up in here, and they wouldn't warranty it. I bought this one to replace that one, and it's worked well. I got that injection pump gear off, so whoa, shots fired. This is kind of my AC stuff, nitrogen test kit. I've heard some guys say like they don't like fixing AC simply because they don't know how to. The thing with AC is that it's the same. It's the same from John Deere to Cat to Komatsu to Ford to GM to whoever. It's the same basic principle. There's a few different systems, tons of videos on YouTube. There's tons of information. There's tons of pressure charts out there. So you can learn how to do it kind of on the fly. This nitrogen test kit comes in really handy. This Master Cool stuff, I bought this pump. I ordered it from the Snap-on guy, and it had a sticker on here before that covered that Master Cool logo up, and it said Blue Point. And then just through use, that sticker came off, and it's just like right on. This is your digital scale. Some guys do it based off pressure. They watch their gauges and they just fill till their pressures are working good. Some guys do it based off of volume. I like to do it off volume. I have to buy the refrigerant, and then I got to bill it out. So I can't bill out 250 high side of refrigerant. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I use this, bill it accordingly. The spot gun injection kit. So you can rifle a little bit of peg oil into your system. It's frustrating. There's some guys that are really good at AC. I'm mediocre at it. I know what I'm doing with it, and I know how to fix it. There's no spec to say, put in this amount of peg oil. You put too much in though, and you're gonna ruin the system. Not enough, and you're gonna ruin the system, but there's no spec. It's kind of like taxes. The system knows what it wants. Do the wrong number, and you f***ed up. In this drawer, handy kit for studs. It's just a wire wheel. Just a stud cleaning kit. You can use it for batteries. You can use it for wheel studs. It's not a tap kit, it's a rethread kit, so it doesn't cut new threads. It'll fix threads. It's come in handy. I have another one further in that we'll get to that I use more often. You guys might notice I didn't have any quarter drive stuff in there. And this is the Snap-on 100th anniversary. And again, this kit is ridiculously expensive. I found this at the very back of a Snap-on truck, buried. He'd had it for a while. I originally wanted the small red little box. It's quarter drive, it's very handy, it's neat. But he sold me this one for the same price I would have got that one for, and this has more in it. Any Snap-on guys know why this piece of plastic's in here? Like, there's a specific cutout in the foam for it, but I have no idea why it's there. It also comes with this commemorative coin. That'll get the job done. I always have that with me. It's handy. More inverted torques. So if we hit those Perkins, man, we've got up now to 3 kits of inverted torques. Comes with this massive quarter drive ratchet, which I don't know what you're doing with this, but you are putting the beans to some machine screws for sure. But yeah, if anyone knows what this is for, let me know. Write it down somewhere, mail it to me. These came in a kit. I broke 2 of them. I was on the Snap-on truck and they had the Snap-on Dixon flannels. How do I get that? And so you got to buy either this pick set or it's like a 3/8 ratchet. I already had 3/8 ratchet. So in my head, a 3/8 ratchet was going to be $100. So I figured this pick set was going to be $100. It was $350. So I spent $350 for a Dixon shirt that shrunk actually. So I can't even wear it anymore. Yeah, thanks for the shirt. Yeah, ill-fitting. The infrared thermometer. I just actually had a conversation with a guy the other day. He was talking about buying the infrared imager, and they're expensive. I think they're like over $1,000. I used to have one. I sold it to a friend of mine that plugged into the bottom of my phone. It turned my phone into a thermal imager. I used it once or twice, but they were things that I could have just used either the back of my hand for it or this. I think they have their place. I don't know if I've found it yet, but these work really good. You can use them for testing the hot spots on rads to see the temp drop across coolers and rads and things like that. I use this to verify AC repairs. You can always take a picture of it and send it because the operator will say it's never cold enough. This drawer is digital torque wrenches. I have click types on here. So people always say, oh, what are you gonna do if you run out of batteries? Buy more batteries. I keep like probably 30 AA batteries on here at all times, so I'm not too concerned. Half-inch drive, digital torque wrench, long-handled snap-on ratchet, longer snap-on pry bar. It's one of my favorite pry bars, actually. It's a really good length. It's solid. It doesn't bend under pressure. The longer snap-on indexing bar. Put a lot of weight on this. I put snipes on this, so this one's held up really well. Strap wrench for changing filters. If you have to change a filter, this is the best tool that you can have for it. Whoa. I wonder how the top of that got broken, eh? And this drawer, the rest of the Milwaukee kits. This is super handy when it has a working disc on it. The new discs are on the other side. This blew up on me the other day. I was cutting a small clamp. You get a lot of exhaust clamps and things like that. You corrode into nothing. Instead of fighting it, just cut it, move on with your life. This is that useless 3/8 M18. It's just like a backup, but to be honest, doesn't put out any power. This as well, it's broken now. There's a tip that goes on it. So we're doing it. This and this can just go in the garbage. These I keep, I've got 3. So I've got the wire wheel. I've got this one with just a small carbide bit, and then this one with a clapped out. I've got more sanding discs. I just keep these ready to go at all times. They don't put out a ton of torque. They will stall out. But for just doing like quick things where I don't want to fire up like a whole setup, these work great. And having a few different ones ready to go makes it handy. The ratchet, you can actually use it as a ratchet. You can put some power into it. I've done that and I've actually kind of messed up where the battery goes. So the battery gets loose in it. But this, if you're going up to pull a valve cover, mining, when you had a bunch of exhaust bellows to change out, this like worked great for undoing all the clamps that held those exhaust bellows in. It's actually a pretty useful little tool. I like having it around. It's earned its keep. Starter button for snap-on, Enviro drain, different colored zap straps for marking hoses and things like that. Green Loctite, red Loctite, blue Loctite, big Loctite, small Loctite. We got all the Loctite. Yeah, so that's that drawer. So this cabinet here is the under crane cabinet. What I like to do is I'd like to remove this reel and mount it actually up underneath the crane. Get rid of that wheel chock holder, and then that would free up, and then I'll get a drawer pack made for here. But right now, I keep my rags in here. Pump for running a couple cylinders. I think this one's a 30 ton. Actually, I found this on the highway in Fort Mac. And then I got a bottle jack there. That's really all I keep on the truck. This is the side I work off. This is 90% of my work. It's done on this side of the truck. So the crane's on this side. If it was on that side, I would lose 7 to 8 feet of reach. But by just having to reach over the truck to come to this side where I'm working. So a lot of Americans, for whatever reason, they mount their cranes on the passenger side. Why? And they say it's to even out the weight, but like you can add a leaf spring. I don't know why they like to do it. Also, I notice a lot of the American trucks, maybe not on like the bigger chassis like this, but they're like, they end here. But they're like short cabinets, and then like their bottle cabinet will be the right height. And it's like, well, why don't you just make the whole truck the right? I don't know. Yeah, the auto crane works really well. This one's 8,500 pound crane. I had on my old truck a 5,000 pound crane. It was a Cobra. It was electric. You could time it with a calendar, but it would lift. It would lift up to and including 5,000 pounds. So I haven't had any issues majorly with this one. The only thing I would do is try and get a bit more capacity. You always need, this is an 8,500. Like I've yet to max it out in a sense where I really need a bigger one. It's not 100% necessity. There's a lot of guys out there running 4,000 pound cranes and they're doing the job just fine. The VMAC works good. I can run my one inch gun off this VMAC all day, every day. The only problem is it's hydraulically ran. It's on the other side. Well, we can take a look at it. It is loud. It just screams. So it is a loud thing, but it works. It produces air, and that's what I need it to do. So got a Lincoln 305G. The first welder I bought was a Lincoln 330 MPX, $8,000 brand new when I bought it. And people were surprised I paid that much for a welder then. Now that same welder is $13K. I bought this one used out of Campbell River. They're trying to fit so many different functions into a machine. Would it be nice to have an EFI engine? Yeah, it'd be nice, but I don't want another computer. And this has a cable that goes to a choke, goes to a carburetor. It works. It's simple. It works. These Shell Rin reels, would not buy again. They seized up on the side here, so I have to use like a pipe wrench or something to loosen them off and tighten them up. This cabinet here, I have a whole bale of spill pads, but these are just my quick grab ones for when things are going sideways. And then these pack outs, top one here. So gauges and test line. We've got 10,000 PSI. I've got vacuum gauges. I see a lot of guys with the digital gauges. If you got something shuttling quick or kind of intermittent, sometimes you can't catch that. You can't get a feel for it on a digital gauge, whereas with a mechanical, that needle sweeping around and you can watch how it comes up, how it drops off. I find you get a better feel with a mechanical gauge. So I've always had mechanical gauges. I like them. This is just electrical stuff, a couple connectors and stuff like that. This PewDiePie fuse tester, which actually works pretty good. This one's electrical testing, inline fuse, hooked up to some wires, just so I can run battery power to something. Other odds and ends, just things of wires I've cut apart, test leads I've cut apart. What works for me might not work for somebody else, and what works for somebody else might not work for me. But if you need to test electrical, there's something in here. Hydraulic testing. So we've got different inline fittings to put into things, just random fittings, a couple CompuCheck fittings with different ends on them to thread into different things. This was actually surprisingly not expensive to build up. This is just kind of consumables. So you got cotter pins, E-clips, snap rings, inside and outside snap rings. This one I think is actually empty. But this one I just plan on putting kind of oddball fittings and stuff like that in and just using it for that. Back in this cabinet, grinders, M18 pump. Just run these hoses and they just quick connect on there. The air fittings on the M18 pump is it's a hack for sure. Life hack. Rad gun. I use this for undercarriage and GET. Really just torquing. This one is good up to 2,500 foot-pounds or 3,000. Not a lot of guys pack them around. Is it necessary? Yeah, I think it is. Like torquing up final drives and stuff like that. A lot of things are torque turns now. With an impact works, but it's not always the best. If you're just starting out, that's probably the first thing you want to buy. You want to actually see if you can get your parents' line of credit and put it on that. No, even as a journeyman, unless you're doing a lot of undercarriage or GET, I wouldn't even stress about it. I bought it when I was working in the oil sands, mostly for doing suspension and steering. Yeah, so that's that drawer. So this one here, coolant extender, hydraulic oil additive, more hand wipes, dye. You can use this, put it in your hydraulic system, and then you can see if you're transferring to other compartments such as torques and stuff like that. Got the standard procedured cat O-ring kit, works good for everything. Is your D-ring kit for your cat flange. This one here is a little different. This is the yellow O-rings and this is your silicone. So this is high heat, low pressure. So this would be used wheel loaders, dozers, things like that. Anything that has like an actual powertrain. This is the refill and retention system. You can pull a vacuum and then remove components as you need. This is that puller kit I told you that Snap-on wouldn't warranty. I actually think the puller is in that cabinet there, thrown in there out of hatred. But it is handy still to have all this hardware and the pullers and stuff like that. This is the master combo kit of Power Probe. I think I pulled this out once and used it. I'm not a huge Power Probe guy. There seems to be some guys that fucking love this thing. I bought it due to that love that I saw for it. It looks like it would be useful, and maybe I'm just not running into the types of problems that I need it on. Like this short, the short transmitter deal. I tried using it on a haul truck once, it wouldn't work. What I ended up doing was just plugging a light bulb into that fuse. And then obviously that then carries the current, but not enough to damage anything. And I was able to find it. And as soon as you find the short, the light goes out because power takes the path of least resistance. And so that I found easier to use than all this. I do hope that one day I can find a use for it, but it's there. This is pressure adapters for different trucks and different pieces of equipment. This is a borescope attachment. It goes with my borescope that's up there. So this makes it so you can actually articulate the borescope around. This is the rest of the borescope. It's a pretty good screen on it. There's some guys that have them that just plug into their phones. This one, I find the scope on it's really good. The screen is good. And then it also has its own SD card. So you can save photos and video and stuff like that. This is another Tiger tool set. This is the heavy duty yoke puller. I bought this actually for a wheel loader. I haven't needed it since, but I do feel like it is worth having. Anything that pulls, anything that's like a puller of any sort. This is a Cat Huey. It's for testing the oil pumps on the Huey systems. So it just comes, mostly I got it just for these test fittings and stuff like that. This kit, it's one of those things I could probably just put it into the shop and pull it out when I need it. But at the same time, with the test fittings, the gauges, and a couple of the feeler gauges and specialty tools, you never know kind of what else you'll run into that requires those. So it is, still has its use. It doesn't take up a huge amount of room. So we let it stay. So running up here, just consumables up here. We got a couple clamps, flapper wheels, Cat cleanliness kit or whatever they call it. But it's just for porting off different lines and keeping things clean and orderly. I think it's a really good kit to have because you can't have plug in a cap for every fitting out there. This is the NES. Some of you guys might have heard about it. I've seen it. It works really well for field repair, for cleaning up threads like master pad, like dozer master pad. But if you have something like this, there's a chance you can save it. Bag of flossers. There's no great secret behind it. There's no real cool trick or tool with it. I think honestly, I just ate lunch one day and I had like a piece of shit stuck in my teeth and it was driving me nuts. And I stopped at a gas station and I bought the whole bag, got it out, and then threw it in there. There's this drawer. I just got this, the wrench extender from Fortis HD. I'm excited for this. Extending wrench is getting that extra leverage. It's nice that it's engineered, so it's not homemade tooling. There's a lot of companies and sites that don't allow homemade tooling, so that'll come in handy. Keep my torch in here. What else we got? We got our big crescent wrench. We've got combustion leak tester. I wouldn't say this is a fail-safe system for testing if you've got a blown head gasket. It's a clue. It can set you down the path. Set you down the wrong path too. You're supposed to fill it full of like penetrating oil and then you snap it onto a grease nipple and then you hit this end with a hammer and it just hydraulically hammers through. I've had mixed results with it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Got the old Cat clicker box. This is Cat ET before there was Cat ET. It's not one of those things that comes in handy every day, but it's one of those things that when you need it, you actually do need it. This is my 3/4 torque wrench, Precision Instruments or something like that. They make the ones for Snap-on as well. I like that it's compact. I don't have to have a kit that's like 4 or 5 feet long, taking up space somewhere. So it works good. And then the bottom drawer, these are the bee's knees. Doesn't look professional to have hoses hanging off with rags hanging out of them, making a mess. But these are available at Fortis HD. It's a professional look, it's a professional feel, it's needed, it's necessary, and it works well. 3/4 standard impact sockets, 7/8 to 2 inch. This is the metric kit here. This is the only Mac tool I actually keep on the truck. It actually does, this one Mac tool is useful. It's got the other arm over there, so it can be used as a 3-jaw or a 2-jaw, and it works good. It does the job. So this cabinet here, it's got my welding helmet. I use just a basic auto shield, sugar scoop style, I think they call it. This is my backup 3/4, but like I said, like doesn't work that well. So again, it shouldn't even really be on the truck right now. It only worked for a little bit and then failed miserably. This is the 3/4 I use the most, this snap-on one. It works really well. It pounds. This is another power probe. I've had this one for a long time, since I was just an apprentice, and this does work. I used to have all the way up to 3-inch, but then when I sold my old truck, I sold the 1-inch sockets with it. And then when I bought this one, I very rarely used anything over 2-inch. I think I'll just buy those sockets as it comes up. This is amp seal for repairing electrical connectors. This is Deutz, same thing. This is kind of like a bigger tap and die set. This is the standard one, the same but metric. Very handy to have these on the truck. Again, it's not something you need every day, but when you do need it, you need it. This is that snap-on where it just seized up. It galled the threads up, didn't even work. Thanks, Snap-on. Master disconnect set for fuel lines and AC lines. Grease gun. I don't have to pull everything out to get to that grease gun. It does slip out and over the top of everything. This is my measuring drawer. Keep my vernier calipers in here. So here's just a straight edge. You can put on like a cylinder head and make sure it's not waved out, or even a valve bank or something like that. It's a dial bore gauge. It's come in handy a few times for checking pin bores and stuff like that, where you're gonna put the new one in and the new one actually just slides in. There's not enough crush. So with this, you can actually check and verify your pin bores in a few different spots, make sure they're not wore out or something like that. Next drawer down, radiator hose picks, coolant and battery refractometer, and a def refractometer. It's funny, actually, one of my customers explicitly told me that they checked with their def refractometer the quality of def, and they were getting weird readings. So I went and looked, and it was reading normal. So I said, let's see a refractometer. And it was actually a wine refractometer that they had. That's for testing the alcohol in homemade wine. So it's not the same. You need different ones. Different ones do different things. Snap-on serpentine belt tool, which actually comes in super handy. This is for checking ACERT injector height. It's supposed to have like this little piece of paper, and then this is actually stepped as go, no go. So you want it to slide across this bottom step and not be able to touch that upper step there. This drawer, filter cutter, screw extractors, some random taps. This is a Tiger Tools yoke kit, the spark plug tester for R&D heads, def filter, start switch, solenoid valve, just some spare parts that come in handy. Left-hand drill bits for screw extractors, cutting discs, things like that. Another tap and die set. This is kind of like your average sized tap and die set. Tap extractors for when you get a little too haywire with them and you break them off. Helicoil kit. It works good. This is my welding drawer. So we got our ground clamp, our stinger, a couple gloves, my gouger, welding consumables, my lifetime supply of chalk, and then this is my lance, my oxygen lance. Again, this is not something you need every day, but when you do need it, you need it. Lance and pins out. I don't have an answer, but I'll answer. This is the extent of my air tools, to be honest. The snap-on air hammer with the bits, and for inflating tires. Nitrogen bottle, oxygen, acetylenine's back in there. There's nothing really fancy to it. So in the Doghouse, come alongs, there's a bit of rigging, a couple ratchet straps, jumper cables. I hate like stuff everywhere. The garbage can was life-changing for that. I used to, because you just end up with so much small stuff and you just like put it here, you put it there, you put it here. Now, garbage can keeps it all in one spot. It also makes it easy. If you see a dumpster that's unlocked, you just done, out of there, you're gone. After you ask permission, of course, and verify that you're allowed to put some garbage in there. Take the garbage can out, you're doing a service, you keep it beside you. Like the filter's coming wrapping, you're doing shims, each shim is individually wrapped. Like get a grip. I'm trying to save the earth here. I keep back here also my cooler, it's full of drinks. An empty pail and it actually has a toilet seat on it right now. You never know when you gotta take a shit. Yeah, so that's the Doghouse. So the cab it's a Freightliner. There's not a whole lot to it at all. Like my dog comes with me to a lot of sites, and he's with me quite a bit of the time. So I needed somewhere for him to go. So I didn't want a regular cab truck. So the Freightliner with the extended cab, and just I can keep coveralls back there. I can keep my laptops, they can go back there. The dog goes back there. He's a 208-pound Mastiff. He fits back there perfectly fine. And the nice thing about the Freightliner too, it's just how wide the cab is. Like you get into a Kenworth or a Peterbilt, it feels like you're sitting on top. Like if you got a passenger, it feels like you're sitting on top of them. This thing, if I drop something over on that passenger side, I just about got to call an Uber to go get it. Like it's a ways away. The size of the cab, I really like that. I can fill it up with a lot of junk. So that works out quite well. Yeah, that was the tour of my service truck. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm Mark with Mark Douglas Contracting here on Vancouver Island. If you have any questions, put it down in the comments below. We'll see you guys next time. We got these from Fortis HD. See what we got, a couple gifts. Tekamo water bottle, keep me hydrated. And the big tumbler with the swing drive on there so you know it's for equipment. Thanks, Fortis HD.
Sounds like they have a gun to you.
I don't know what to do anymore.
Thank you to Mueller for sponsoring the truck tour. To get your limited edition Big Chooch, go over to FortisHD.com, the only place you can find it. And don't forget to follow Mueller Kueps, Fortis HD, and Tekamo on social media for new tool announcements and more.